Sony has a pair of headphones for almost every situation, but actually picking a pair can get overwhelming and confusing sometimes. But for your average consumer who just wants overall good performance, then the Sony 1000XM2 and the Sony H.ear On 2 are two great options. But they only have a $50 difference between them. So what's the difference? Let's find out.
Just so you know, this isn't a full review on either of these headphones. I'm just trying to point out the most important differences between them so I can help you with your purchase decision. If you want to learn more about these headphones, watch their full reviews. Like I mentioned earlier, these headphones only have a $50 difference between them. The Sony 1000XM2 usually retail for $349.99 and the H.ear On 2 usually retail for $299.99. But I got these for $249.99. If you want to pick either of these headphones up, I'll have links in the description below and I'll keep them updated so you can get the best deal possible. I suggest you check out the links because Sony products routinely go on sale and it also helps out the channel.
First, let's go over what's the same on these headphones. They're both noise cancelling headphones. They're both closed back headphones with 1.57-inch dome drivers. They both charge via a micro USB port and they both have a 3.5mm audio jack for wired listening and they can both be used passively. And they're both using Bluetooth 4.1 and they both have a range of about 35 feet. And unfortunately, they can both only be paired to one device at a time. So you can't hot swap, which honestly is pretty annoying given that most of the headphones these days can be paired to at least two devices at a time, and Apple's new W1 chip allows you to seamlessly switch between either of your Apple devices.
They also have very similar build qualities. They're using the same type of plastics on the paneling, the same type of synthetic leather and padding for the ear pads and underside of the headband, and they're using the same type of stainless steel for the headband itself. Their build quality is good, but it's not on the level of the Bose QC35 Series 2. But the build quality of the 1000XM2 has improved from the Sony MDR 1000X. After 3 months of heavy usage, the headband on the 1000XM2 hasn't cracked, which was a big problem with the previous 1000X. So hopefully the H.ear On 2 won't suffer any headband cracking issues either. The first most obvious difference is their design. I personally think the H.ear On 2 look better than the 1000XM2, especially the ear cups. They have a more defined shape and the plastic paneling really let them play with lighting and shadows. Whereas the ear cups on the 1000XM2 are covered in synthetic leather and they just look like this amorphous blob. Like I said in the past, I would really like to see the Sony 1000XM3 to adopt some of the design language from the H.ear On 2. But the H.ear On 2 aren't as low profile as the 1000XM2. They do stick out to the sides a bit. But the key design difference between the H.ear On 2 and the 1000XM2 are the earpad designs and how they rest on your head. The earpads on the H.ear On 2 do a far better job of encasing your ears and give your ears more breathing room. There's also less padding in contact with your head, so this means less heat buildup over time. The earpads on the H.ear On 2 are very similar to the ones found on the Bose QC35 Series 2. Whereas the ear cup design of the 1000XM2 is a little more cramped and they might rest on your earlobes. Both of these headphones are comfortable to wear and the ear cups both have a good amount of range of motion to accommodate almost every head shape, but the ear cup design alone might be a major deciding factor for some people. I personally find myself reaching for the H.ear On 2 over the 1000XM2 when I'm going to listen to music at home or when I'm editing video just because of the more open feel of the H.ear On 2 on my ears.
But the ear cup design on the H.ear On 2 does play a negative role when it comes to noise cancellation. Like I mentioned earlier, both of these headphones are noise cancelling headphones, but the ANC on the 1000XM2 is far superior than that of the H.ear On 2. The ear cup design on the H.ear On 2 doesn't offer as much passive noise isolation as the ear cups on the 1000XM2, so a lot of sound still manages to get in even with ANC turned on.
But in general, the noise cancellation on the Sony 1000XM2 is the best on the market right now, whereas the noise cancellation on the Sony H.ear On 2 are more comparable to the Beats Studio 3s. The noise cancellation on the H.ear On 2 is really only worth using in already quiet to mildly loud environments like at home or at the office, but the noise cancellation on the 1000XM2 does a far better job of blocking out more sound and perform better in louder environments. The 1000XM2s are the ones that I reach for when I'm traveling or when I'm just commuting. And the noise cancellation technology on either of these headphones don't cause any cabin pressure or discomfort on your eardrums when using them, which is a pretty common problem with other ANC headphones out there. But one problem with the ANC on the H.ear On 2 is that the mics like to pick up a lot of wind noise. So if you're walking around and you get hit by a breeze, you're gonna hear it when listening to music. Whereas the 1000XM2 very rarely pick up any wind noise, and that's because the microphones are recessed within the synthetic leather. The leather might not look good, but it does play a very beneficial role. And the M2s give you a lot more control over your active noise cancellation settings. First up, the M2s have an atmospheric pressure sensor built in, which allows them to calibrate themselves for better ANC performance, while the H.ear On 2s don't. And this isn't just marketing fluff. There have been multiple times where I went through the ANC calibration process on the 1000XM2 and noticed a significant performance improvement. And both of these headphones also allow you to pump in some ambient sound for safety reasons, but only the 1000XM2 allows you to adjust exactly how much ambient sound you would like to let in, whereas with the H.ear On 2s, it's a fixed amount.
Ambient sound.
When it comes to battery life, the 1000XM2 manages to do just a little better than the H.ear On 2. With noise cancellation turned on, I averaged 32 hours of playback time, and with noise cancellation turned off, I averaged 38 hours of playback time. And with the H.ear On 2, with noise cancellation turned on, I averaged 28 hours of playback time and 35 hours of playback time with noise cancellation turned off. Both of these headphones have above average battery life with noise cancellation turned on. But their quick charging sucks. If you plug either one of these in for 10 minutes, then you'll get only about 70 minutes of playback time.
Now, I know I've spent a lot of time comparing the noise cancellation on these headphones, and that's because sound quality on these guys is identical and they get just as loud. I have actively tried to find a discernible difference in audio quality between these headphones, and I couldn't. And that's not a bad thing. They both sound really good. They have a good soundstage and good instrument separation, and there's no tinning in the highs. Very rarely does the bass muddle out the sound, and through Sony's Headphones app, you can adjust the EQ of either of these headphones to better suit your kind of music. Without moving up to higher end headphones like the B&W PX and up, I prefer the sound of the 1000XM2 and the H.ear On 2 over other popular options like the Bose QC35 Series 2, Beats Studio 3s, JBL Everest Elite 750NC, and so on. Just keep in mind, even though these headphones have the potential to have a lot of bass, they're not going to have as much bass as the Sony XB950N1 or the Skullcandy Crusher. But I also want to point out, the 1000XM2 has Sony's S-Master HX audio amplifier system, while the H.ear On 2s don't. Which only really matters if you're listening to high-res music. If you're streaming music from Apple Music, Google Play, Pandora, Spotify, or whatever, it's not really gonna affect you. Also, these headphones are using the same touch controls on the right ear cup. Double tap to play or pause, swipe front or back to skip or go back a track, and swipe up or swipe down to raise or lower your volume. And if you press and hold, you'll activate your voice assistant. The touch controls are equally as accurate on both headphones and super easy to use. But more importantly, both of these headphones have my favorite feature, which is quick attention. I love this feature more than I love Chick-fil-A waffle fries. Matter of fact, if you love waffle fries, comment down below with the chicken and fries emoji so I know you got this far. But with quick attention, if you fully cover the right touchpad, the headphones will lower the volume of whatever you're listening to and they'll pump in all of the ambient sound. So this way you can talk to someone without having to take your headphones off.
Carbon, new Netflix series that they have graced us with its release date of the February 2nd, and it seems to be a whole story about what happens when we're no longer limited to our body. You're able to
Now let's go over some minor but pretty important stuff. Remember, there's only a $50 price difference between these two headphones, but with the 1000XM2, you get a hard shell carrying case. Something super important to consider if you plan on traveling a lot with either of these headphones. The carrying pouch included with the H.ear On 2 aren't going to protect your headphones. Also, only the 1000XM2 can fold up and be laid flat, which again can be important if you travel a lot. Headphones that can be laid flat are much easier to store in my opinion, whereas the H.ear On 2 can only fold up, so it can be a little harder to throw into your bag. And finally, if you plan on taking lots of phone calls with these, the microphone on the 1000XM2 sounds slightly better than the H.ear On 2. It doesn't get blown out as easily. But if you want to hear a microphone test on either of these headphones, then watch their full reviews. So, if you're deciding between either of these two headphones, just know you're getting the same sound quality, the same Bluetooth range, stability, and capabilities, and you're getting the same level of build quality. The major differences between these headphones is the overall styling, ear cup design, and noise cancellation performance. Get the Sony 1000XM2 if you plan on traveling or commuting a lot with these headphones. They have the best noise cancellation out there right now, and their included carrying case and ability to be laid flat make them much easier to throw into your bag without worrying about them. But if you just want good sound and you're a little more style conscious, then go with the H.ear On 2. The ear cup design alone and how they encase your ears and give them much more room is a major deciding factor for me. Like I said, I would really like to see the 1000XM3 pick up some of the design language from the H.ear On 2. Regardless, you can't go wrong with either of these two headphones, but if you demand the best noise cancellation, then get the 1000XM2. Remember, this isn't a full review on either of these headphones. I'm just trying to point out the most important differences between them so I can help you with your purchase decision. If you want to learn more about these headphones, watch their full reviews. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It helps out more than you realize. For more product reviews and deal alerts, check out jimcaddy.net. If you want to support the channel, pick up a shirt, and I'll catch you next time.